Today we continue with our classes of laws of Shabbos. Today's class number 62. And we start with, Sefer Shmiras Halashon. Today's topic is beyond description. Our sages teach Lashon Hara kills three: the speaker, the listener, and the person being discussed. It says Yerushalmi Pei 1:1. Okay, so three, one more time: the speaker, the listener, and the person being discussed. The gossip monger caused many to sin all at once, for it is his way to assemble a crowd around himself to hear the latest piece of gossip. So everybody comes around him, and he has very interesting thing to share. All right. The gossip monger is deft in the art of making his report intriguing, right? This newscaster, right? And convincing. So whatever he said, he said facts, even sometimes facts, whatever he said does not make any sense. So that his listeners accept his words as a fact, and in most cases spread the news to others. Okay. So he's basically, he sounds convincing, but like he's just gossipmonger. Moreover, those who take pleasure in listening to gossip often adopts the way of gossipmonger. Right? As they spread gossip, both new and old and others. Okay. Words cannot adequately depict the depth of gossipmonger's sin. Meaning, so many people suffer from this guy, but on another hand, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to listen to him. His words bring untold harm to himself and to all those who accept and relate Lashon Hara because of him. So basically, for him to do TeShuva, all these people, he has to undo the harm that done by all these people. And they came home, they told to their family, and this family told to somebody else. So it's like, go fix it. His crime is often compounded as he spices his words with mockery and lies. So to make it more reliable or believable, and the more funny, entertaining, so he puts spice with mockery and lies, which even if not disparaging, are nonetheless forbidden. The Mishnah states scripture punishes one who joins transgressors like the transgressors themselves. Mishnah Marcos 1:7. So meaning one who joins the transgressor. So the one who listens, he exactly the same, exactly in their fault as the guy who speaks. Surely whoever is willingly joined the gossipmonger group, will stand judgment for this, and will be inscribed above as belonging to a fraternity of the wicked. Tzava'as Rabbi Eliezer 7. Okay, so basically the one who makes other people to sin is, and these people who listen to him, who sin, they're responsible as he is. Why? They had to know. People have to know.
Rabbit question. In regards to Lashon Hara and the like, so we said that, let's say someone doesn't want you to say something, even though it's not derogatory, but he thinks he doesn't want it to be known, not allowed to say it, correct? So yes. My question is,
you mean the subject of the Lashon Hara does not want it to say? That's what he's saying?
Yeah. For example, exactly. So my question is like this. For example, the same question is in regards to, let's say, someone usually lets me borrow his jacket or borrow this or borrow that, okay? So after what's the borderline where I'm allowed to say something because I think he lets me? For example, he usually lets me borrow his jacket so I can take it without his permission. When do we reach that line in regards to this?
What's that? So you borrow his jacket, so he's okay with that. So what line are you talking about? When you have to stop Borrowing his jacket?
No. I'm saying like this. I borrow his jacket today. Okay.
Yes.
So I go. I want to take his jacket tomorrow, right? So I can either think, wait, I can take his jacket. Why? He let me borrow it this time. What's the difference between today and yesterday, right? Or I could think, listen, okay, yesterday, one-time thing. 2 times he already might not want, you see?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
after how many times of something, does it count as
No, once.
okay to do?
Once.
Only
I
once?
would say only once.
Uh-huh.
And unless he told you explicitly, oh, you know what? I don't use this jacket as much. I usually keep it in the shul. So any time it is raining, you can take the jacket. And in the shul where they go, there are I don't know, in the coat room, like 10 jackets, and they almost full of dust. So people, I don't know, they forgot it. I mean, so they were so long for the hanging. I mean, I'm not. Maybe people moved out. I don't know what happened. So maybe they keep it just for a rainy day. I have no idea. So this kind of jacket that is there forever. So maybe a person gave up. I don't know. Okay, so you ready? 62. All right. Continue.
Yeah.
So we continue with the milach of scraping, right? So scraping, and we said that talada is what is smoothing, right? We said they're not allowed to apply all of these thick substances by Torah law. What we say is like animal fat, beeswax, tar, and some like that. That would for sure make it smooth. So that's the goal of scraping. So it was a height with hairs, and you try to remove the hairs and make a nice leather. So right. So that's it. Okay.
All right. Let's say I have ice, right? And I write with it. Okay. Let's say I put it.
With what, ice?
Ice. No, I put it on a piece of paper. I drag it over.
Yes.
Does that count as scraping or no? Because it melts quicker. It becomes more.
No, but it might be as count as writing. Because you see I think on the paper I think the mark is going to stay like from the wet paper, right? It was like a smooch. Right, so the writing could stay. I'm guessing.
But scraping? What about scraping?
I don't think so.
Understood. Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the next example. So this one is very practical, right? Shoe polish. It is forbidden to use salad, bivat, shoe polish on Shabbos. For this violates the melacha of memareach. Regarding liquid polish, see 337. So we said liquid polish would color, right? That's also a problem. Yeah, so exactly. This also relates the melach of coloring, soveya. Coloring. Okay, meaning with the liquid. I apologize. With the liquid for sure, right? And plus this one with the wax. It's also coloring. Okay, so for those who follow, I'm on page 383. Okay, continue. J. Sili puli, a Play-Doh, modeling clay. It is forbidden to shape or mold these items on Shabbos. Doing so will let the melach of smoothing. Right, so Play-Doh, what is smoothing? Okay. Next one, baby oil. Baby oil may be used on Shabbos since it is liquid. Its use does not violate the melach of memarech. So I mean, it's all the oils are allowed. So when they were talking the thick oil, I'm not sure. I never seen in my life the thick oil that like this viscosity. I'm not sure. Okay, L. Use of creams and ointment by someone who is ill. In order to understand the rules concerning the use of these substances by one who is ill, we must present brief synopsis of the halachas surrounding the treatment of illness and injury on Shabbos. So that's it's actually this section does not. They put it here because of the claims, but these rules are going to apply to all other instances. So when we must understand whether it is the situation is pikuach nefesh or not, and whether we can what kind of treatment we can do, or what kind of melachas we can do for that person. Is he sick or he's not sick? What level he is in? Basically, okay. So let's see. Number one, if illness is life-threatening, one is required to transgress any biblical and rabbinical law to save person's life. So that's what we say, pikuach nefesh, right? So life is in danger. Before a person has a life-threatening illness or injury, there is he is a choleh she'ein bo sakana, a patient whose life is in danger, and he requires treatment. There is normally forbidden on Shabbos. One must violate the Shabbos on his behalf. So first category, the more serious one, and so it's called pikuach nefesh, choleh she'ein bo sakana, so whose life is in danger. So you must violate all of the Shabbos melachas in order to save him. Why did we say desecrate one Shabbos for him so he can absorb many other Shabbos in the future?
Yeah, since we're on that about observing many other Shabbos and pikuach nefesh, so in Rabbi Silber's book, right? Zilber is the one about.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Okay, so long story short, there was a case about a person named Sufyan. Anyways, so he asked if he could smoke on Shabbos, right? If they offer him a cigarette, because they had a meeting Friday night, him and some Russian government people, so on and so forth, right? To see if he keeps Shabbos or if not, if he's enemy of state, so on and so forth, okay? So Rabbi Silber gave him a psak, and he said, no, you're not allowed to smoke. So why don't we say this situation is pikuach nefesh? If he doesn't smoke and they offer him a cigarette, there's a good chance he's gonna die.
No, it's probable that they're going to offer a smoke. It's probable that they're going to. It's not certain.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But maybe the building is going to collapse. Something they're going to cancel. But here you see the wound. You see that he's a fever, like very high fever. He's dying. It's not maybe, for sure his life is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But I apologize. Yeah. I remember this story. But you see, I mean, his great wisdom, he never wrote. He prepared everything. I don't know what chapter you're on. He prepared everything before Shabbos, and he was avoiding. And I remember just recently about this guy who was in charge of the whole department in a factory, like top authority, and he made sure they work on Shabbos. So he was never in his office to sign papers, never, right? He was walking around and talking to the workers, discussing things with them. You understand? It's like he's there supervising, and he would never sign anything. And that's okay. So continue. Okay, so we got about this choleh she'ein bo sakana. So for this person, you must do everything in your power. If time is not in essence, and there is a non-Jew available, one should instruct a non-Jew to perform forbidden act. So if non-Jew can do, for example, even better than you, of course. Okay, so of course you have to ask him. Furthermore, even if forbidden act is not actually saving the patient, but it's needed simply to alleviate his suffering, or to refresh him, or to make him feel stronger, one may violate Shabbos to perform this act. So this is okay. So let me read again, and and we're going to explain. Furthermore, even if the forbidden act is not actually saving the patient, right? So, I mean, he's in serious condition, but he's not going to die. But needs simply to alleviate his suffering. So he has a lot of pain. He's not dying, but has a lot of pain. So he needs like a shot or whatever, change his dressings, whatever he needs, right? Or to refresh him, or to make him feel stronger. One may violate the Shabbos to perform this act. Therefore, if patient suffering from a life-threatening illness requires a certain cream or ointment, it may be applied on Shabbos, even if it will not cure the patient. Right? Creams, as we know, it's the effect of these creams. It takes time. I don't know how many days, whatever, how many applications, but it's not right away, right? And okay, so but he still can do this for the person, even if it's one of the wounds, right? He has many problems. It's one of the issues. So to alleviate this pain, we can do all of these creams. If non-Jew is available, one should instruct a non-Jew to apply the ointment. If a non-Jew is not available, one must apply. It may be applied by a Jew. Okay.
Rabbi, this doesn't apply at all the same in regards to taking pills, does it?
Yes. I mean, you're right. So basically, any things that needs to be done. But the topic here is about creams. That's why he said anything. But you're right. Yeah.
So I have a question like this because Rabbi Yisrael Belsky, right? His son, I once asked because my throat was killing me like crazy, like a needle every time, okay? And he told me, I asked, can I have an Advil or something like that? Yeah, and he said, have a tea. So in that case where it's like horrible, I don't want to swallow, I'm scared to swallow. Am I allowed to take, an Advil or no?
It's a third category. Let's have some patience. We're going to get to it. It's exactly your question. We're going to get it. It's last category. Okay. If possible, a Jew should smear the ointment in unusual manner. Okay, so since this ointment, as we said before, so it's not actually helpful. It's not like if he would put this ointment, then the person is going to survive. No, it's not. Okay, we know that, but it's going to help him. So it's possible to do it in an unusual manner, meaning with something, right? Not whatever he does. He usually does with his fingers, or maybe with the back of the hand, right? With some applicator. I'm not sure, with something. With cotton balls. Okay. If possible, a Jew should smear the ointment in an unusual manner. There is a shino. So shino is a unusual manner. For example, with the back of his hand, exactly. So the many shinuim, right, in plural. So if possible, do it with the back of your hand, if possible. If not, we're going to see other ways also available. If this is not possible, one may smear it in a normal manner. So basically, even though something is allowed for us to do, we try to minimize it if possible. If it's not going to be like prolong his suffering and stuff like that, if normal way, let's say, would take you, I don't know, 2 minutes, and shino would take you 10 minutes, and this person is going to suffer, so no shino. Shino is canceled, do it normal way. But if almost the same time, so you should use shino. Okay, so second category. The illness is not life-threatening. Okay. If one's illness or injury is not life-threatening, but is deliberating enough to require bed rest, for example, flu, right? So I mean, he's weak. He's not going to die from flu, but he's weak, or so. So the intensely, or is so intensely painful that the entire body is affected, whatever reason. For example, severe earache, right? So yeah, sometimes I have this earache. It's like you want, I don't know what I'm ready to do. So it's very, very painful, right? So the whole body, it's like you cannot function. He's in category O, chole she'en bo sakana, a patient whose life is not in danger. Okay. Okay, so this one, whose life is not in danger. Okay, the rule of Shaloi Shein Bo Sakana is as follows. One is forbidden to I'm not sure. I think there they make the typo. Okay, whatever. I don't want to say. Okay, so the rule of Shaloi Shein Bo Sakana is as follows. One is forbidden to transgress biblical prohibition on behalf of such a patient. So he's bedridden, but it's not like he's dying, right? However, one is permitted to transgress rabbinic prohibitions on his behalf. If possible, the rabbinically prohibited act should be performed in an unusual manner. There is with Shina. Okay, so let's continue, and we're going to explain. Some poskim maintain that as long as one performs the prohibited act with the Shina, one may violate even a biblical prohibition on the behalf of Chole Shein Bo Sakana. In case of need, one may rely on this poskim. Okay. One may instruct non-Jew to perform any melacha, even one forbidden by biblical law, for the benefit of Chole Shein Bo Sakana. Okay, so let's try to understand. So person is he has a fever, has whatever, let's say his foot is broken, whatever, something like that. He's bedridden, he cannot walk, he cannot do, okay, he has to lay in bed. So basically we cannot do for him all of the biblical commandments, but on the other hand we can add a non-Jew, ask straightforward without any shinoi. So we can ask him to make for example, to cook soup for him, right? There is no problem. But we can do only what is rabbinically prohibited. But some poskim, so they say that even biblical things that are prohibited, that which are prohibited, he can do for such a person. But of course, it's if in case of the very strong necessity. Okay.
I have a question. Is it better for the sick person himself to do it, or does it not make a difference if he does it or someone else does it?
That doesn't make any difference. So it's still a Jew does, whether you do it for yourself or somebody else, it does not make any difference. I mean, I don't want to say it's like in some cases, yes, it does make a difference, but in this case, no. Let's put it this way. Okay. Okay, continue. So, okay, so
if I benefit at all off of the malacha, is it a problem? And maybe he should do it himself?
Say it again. If what?
If I benefit from the malacha, okay, from the derbanan, whatever it is.
No, what's up? Give me an example. How do you benefit? So you're trying to take care of sick person and you benefit from the melacha?
I'll give you an example. Let's say, okay, he has the air conditioner right next to him. He can turn it on, off, whatever, okay? No effort for him. And he tells me to do it, or I decide to do it, okay? Now, the thing is, I also want it to be a little hotter, a little colder, whatever it is, okay? So I'm benefiting off of it. So maybe he should do it instead.
No, I mean, if he's not suffering from this, basically, I mean, if it's so he told you to put I don't know 73, and said no, 73 is too much. I want 71. So it's okay. 71 is good. I'm going to put blanket. So maybe if it's okay with him, so there is no problem. And so, but you do it for his sake. For your sake, you cannot. So basically, you ask him, maybe we should put 71 because it's too hot and this that. So I give you this example. So I have this air conditioner in my living room. It's like wall unit, but it's like behind the bookcase. So whatever, it's half behind the bookcase. So basically, some air, like when it flows, it goes back to the thermostat right away. So cold air. So whatever, when it says let's say 75 or 74, it's not 70. It's much higher. So we go like a little lower. So even so, people who do not know, they do not know. Understand? They think they will put 73 and it's going to be good. It's not. So we go always lower. Okay.
Oh, Rabbi, very, very quickly. When using your phone or turning on the air conditioner, I just want to know, is it the rice or is it the Rabbanan?
No, it's the Rabbanan, I think.
But with the phone, the electricity doesn't count as turning on fires, turning off fires, all that.
No, it's a fire. I will let's wait until we get to this melacha. So it's not fire. It's only one of the issues. There is another issue that you build in the circle. The circuits. You close the circuit, right? So it did not work. You close the circuit. Another one is a building, right? And another one, I think, Makik Bepatish, I think, if I remember correctly. So something was not usable. Now you plug it in, right? And it's like become usable. You understand? So there are like 5 or 6 different opinion what exactly the person is violated. So it could be, in some cases, it could be biblical also. Yeah, either, go ahead.
I have a question about if you can make variations on Shabbos of the temperature of a regulator, for example, a gas room heater.
No, you cannot. No.
Yeah.
Here, he was asking only about sick person. So whatever we're talking about was sick person that in some cases when his life is in danger and stuff like that, or so we are allowed to do some things. Or if he's a sick, bedridden, he has high fever, he's this broken, that broken. So basically, and he does not feel good, so you can do other things for him, but only not for other people. So unless you're sick in this condition, you're not allowed to do this.
For example, one day it was 30 degrees Celsius, almost doubled in Fahrenheit here, very hot. And that was in the day, and in the night the temperatures dropped to 0. So it was Shabbos, and that may lead to someone to get sick.
Exactly. So okay, so in this case, they say clearly. So in this case, it's a clear indication of this of the first thing, right? When the life is in danger, when people can get sick from the cold, people get sick very, very easily, right? You went in the winter without short, with your only short and stuff like that, without shoes, without proper thing. It's windy, people get cold and die very fast. So they say if it's in the houses where we have like small children or sick people or elderly, so they consider the people whose life is in danger, always. You understand? So if you're like adult and you have a strong immune system, there is no problem. You can survive. You can put sweater, 2 sweaters, no problem. But for these people, that's it. They're always in a risk. So for these people, yes, you're right. You can turn on the heat and stuff like that. Yes. And that's what they were doing in olden days in Europe, right? They didn't have like heat continue, right? They have the stoves and let's say you put coals. Let's put you put firewood. Okay, how long firewood is going to survive? 10 hours, 7 hours. Okay, by the afternoon or close to afternoon of the Shabbos day, it's cold. So there was a special person, paid person, this non-Jew. He would come and start firing all of the stoves, right? So nobody asked him, he knew what to do. Then people that collect money, they pay him basically. So yeah. That's,
I wondered if this applies to even if it's not pikuach nefesh. Let's say there's a person, okay, he's sick, and we're gonna go to some poskim who say that if you do it in an unusual fashion, you can even do it deraisa, okay? My question is like this. Let's say the person needs grapes, or he needs this, or he needs that, whatever he needs, right? Are two people allowed to go after it? And one of them might be doing a malach for no reason, even though that one might be, because that one might be back already. Is that allowed or no?
and then you get the last. So two people go out and what to where? To vineyard, or where did it go?
No, the person has a flu, okay? He needs olives, he needs whatever, he needs an apple, okay, from an apple tree. We'll go with that, okay? So two people go, they try and find an apple, okay? So both of them end up doing a malacha, right? Now, one of them ends up actually being useful because he gives the apple to the one who has a flu, and the other one did a malacha for no reason. Is that still allowed for two people?
Yes, yeah. Right. So you try to save the person. It did not work. Okay, it's not your fault, but you were allowed to try. Yes.
We say this even when it's not pikuach nefesh, right?
If it's not because no, even in a second category, yes. So if it's a let's say if it's a rabbinical, so rabbinical for example to carry through this like Carmelis, not like semi-public domain, right? That's a rabbinical transgression. So for that person, we said clearly you can transgress this rabbinical prohibition. So if you go to the store and say, please give me, as you said, a few apples, and today Shabbos I cannot pay, but after Shabbos we're going to figure out stuff like that. We are going to come in turns, right? Okay, the Chinese guy said, what? You give me money? He said, no money. Not now, cannot pay. So you explained to him, he gave a few apples, and so basically you did only one thing, right? Only one rabbinical that you are carrying through the cardinals, and that's it. There is no problem. We said rabbinical for this sick person whose life is not in danger, you're allowed to do.
So in regards to, let's say someone is a sick person, right? What is counted as if necessary and he's allowed to ask someone to do a malach, and what's not?
Whatever would is his pain, whatever would he said, I don't know. He said, I want this special tea. I always like this special tea. Whatever, mix this, that. You know, is it the special tea is going to help? Absolutely not. But for his ease of mind, we're going to do that. So for him, it's like a medicine. You understand? Whatever would keep him calm. That's already a good indication. So all these things, whatever would help him, and many people have very strange requests, right? Whatever they need, because they say, if I need this special pillow, I need special pillow. I need, because I cannot sleep with my special pillow. Whatever, you know. So
and one more thing. In regards to a shliach, let's say I send a shliach to do a malacha for me, okay? Even though myself, I really don't need the malacha, I'm just sick, I want to find an excuse to do this thing, let's say, right? So this person, he does something for me. I didn't do it myself in the usual manner, since I sent the shliach. If he does it in the usual manner, do I get an avera d'Rabbanan?
Yes, 100%. So shliach is an extension of your hand, 100%. Whatever he does, it's like you did it. Does not make any difference.
No, I agree with you. But I'm just saying, when he does something, when he picks the apple off of the tree, okay? Since I sent him to do it, do I get d'Rabbanan since I did it in an unusual way? Since I didn't myself pick the apple, I sent the shliach to do it? Or is it d'Oraisa because he was like my hand?
No. Okay, so the different situation. So if you tell him not to do it, so check if there are apples like in a basket, let's say. So take that apple and bring it to me, like in a garden. But he decided, why should I take from the basket? I take fresh apple from the tree, so then it's not your fault, basically. So he's responsible. But if you did not specify and he picked from the tree, of course you're guilty, the same as he is. You understand? So if you are allowed, not allowed, it's a different story. But basically, shliach is a continuation of you, unless you told him something to do that's prohibited by the Torah. Right? So you told him go steal from someone. Right? So go steal from someone, or go kill someone. Right? So he's going to be punished, and the person who sent me is not going to be punished. Why? Because he said, well, why listen to me? Hashem told you not to do that, you listen to me. I have to listen to Hashem also. You understand? But this person Hashem is going to punish that person personally, the one who sent the shliach. Okay, let's continue. I'm not sure what are we doing. Okay, so continue number 3, I think. Ointment and creams where illness is not life-threatening. Under certain conditions, creams and ointments may be used for the treatment of chole she'ein bo sakana, a patient whose life is not in danger. For example, if one is suffering from severe sunburn, right, he's in category of this chole she'ein bo sakana. So life is not in danger. If cream or ointment would relieve his pain, the follows procedure apply. So it's not the end of the world, but he's suffering basically. If the condition developed before Shabbos, one should smear the necessary cream onto the bandages before Shabbos and store them in a plastic bag. So he gives a solution, right? He then is permitted to place the bandages onto affected area on Shabbos. This is permitted even though the cream will become smooth when the bandages is placed on the skin. So basically, he put the cream on the bandage, then put bandage, and then press the bandage. So you don't do the smearing. The smearing is done like by you applying this bandage. Just 1 second. In this way, he avoids transgressing the prohibition of smoothing. That's what we do. However, if the medication cannot be prepared before Shabbos, this is the law. Okay, so in some cases, it's, I don't know, maybe it's going to go bad or whatever. There is contact with the air, I'm not sure. It's going to lose its potency, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Okay, so if not, preferably one should use the liquid medication or the aerosol spray, so if possible. So it's not to transgress the prohibition of smoothing. However, if possible, the medication should be applied in an unusual manner with a shimmer. For example, by spreading the liquid, with a kinky or back of the hand, or by pressing button on an aerosol can with the thumbs or pinky. So meaning not the usual, even if it's an aerosol, like press it with different finger, not the one that you usually. So nobody usually uses like a big finger, right? The purpose of the shinoi is to minimize this violation, of rabbinic prohibition against using medicine on Shabbos. Okay. So let's continue. So that was A. So let's summarize A. So they say if it's possible. So it's person, a category whose life is not in danger. So if it's possible to do a spray like aerosol or something, so do that. If it's possible to do it in liquid form, you should do that. Right? So, and if it's aerosol, like press it with a different finger, not the one that you usually use. With the thumb, right? Thumb.
So what will count as an unusual way to take pills, for example?
We're going to get to it. So if in case where it's allowed to take unusual, I think that there is no unusual way to take pills. So you have to swallow them, put it in your mouth, and you swallow it.
Understood. Okay.
Okay. B, if using a liquid medication is not an option, the next best thing is to use cream that is prohibited by rabbinic law only. There is moderately thick substance. So moderately thick, as we say, if you poke your finger in there, so if the impression stays, it's biblical. If not, if it goes back even like slowly, so it is rabbinical. So they say try to do this. So this is next option. If cream is in the jar, its removal inevitably involves a certain amount of smoothing. Okay. Therefore, one should remove the cream in an unusual manner. For example, with a spoon of the with a handle of the spoon or a fork. So nobody usually does it. So that's an unusual manner. And place it on an affected area. So usually people don't do it this way. A bandage may be then placed over the cream, even though it will invariably smooth it out. So after like bandage, you put bandage, you press, of course it's going to smooth out like underneath. If medication comes in tube, one simply squeezes it from the tube onto the affected area. So I think that's the most straightforward way, if it's in the tube, of course. One may then cover the medication with a bandage. Again, you just press it, so you don't smooth it with your finger. You just dab, right, like with a tube, and then press it with a bandage. If simply placing the cream on the skin is not good enough, and one is obligated to actually smear it, one may smear it in an unusual manner. For example, with the back of the hand. So if they say actually smear it like inside in the skin, so do it in a usual manner with the back of your hand. This is allowed because the cream is forbidden by rabbinic law only. So one more time, it's not such a thick cream to begin with, right? And one is permitted to perform a rabbinical prohibition, rabbinically prohibited act in an unusual manner in order to benefit HaShem. So just to remind us again, we're talking about person who is whose life is in danger, and we're applying this rabbinically forbidden cream, and we do it with shiner. We're applying it with shiner. So shiner also, if it's enough, if it's good enough, so you put a bandage on top of the cream and press it. There is no problem. There is no problem because it's also considered a shiner in smearing, or you smear as they say like with the back of your hand, or I would say with the same fork, right? The handle of the fork or the spoon doesn't make any difference. Okay, so nobody usually does this way. Okay, continue. Next one is C, option C. If one obligated to use cream that is forbidden by biblical law, there is a very thick substance, the following procedure may be followed. One removes the cream from the jar in the manner stated above and places it in the skin. So as we said, with the unusual ways, this with the back of the spoon, let's say, right? If the medication comes in a tube, one squeezes out and lets it simply fall onto the skin. So no smearing in this case, right? Once the cream is on the skin, one may smear it. For this violates a bit. One may not smear it. this violates the biblical prohibition. However, a bandage may be placed on affected area, even though it is invariably smooth out the cream. So shimmer here. So you put like this thick cream with the back of the spoon, right, and with the handle of the spoon, and then you put this bandage and you press, and it's going to smear underneath. Okay, that's but it's, of course, it's a third option when you don't have any other choices. If cream must be smeared, one should instruct a non-Jew to smear it, because it's in this case it is a biblical melacha, as we said, and this person is a person whose life is not in danger. If one does not have access to a non-Jew, one may smear cream in an unusual manner. For example, with the back of his hand. In this situation, we rely on those authorities who permit person to perform biblically forbidden act in an unusual manner in order to benefit so whose life is not in danger, but he is bedridden and he suffers a lot. Okay. So number 4, using ointment and cream on children. Okay. Children are more susceptible to illness than adults, and a lack of proper care can easily damage the health of the child. It's okay. The sages were very concerned with ensuring the well-being of the children. Therefore, they showed great leniency when they set out the requirements by the child as a class ill, right? So it's basically because based on the age, or just the child is weak, has weak constitution, so it's all in one category. Thus, while an adult is not considered choleh she'en bo sakana, meaning sick person whose life is not in danger, unless his illness is debilitating enough to require bed rest, right? So if he does not require the bed rest, for example, like third road, right? So does not require, unless he has plus some other things, right? So that's the next category. So adults only when they have to get to bed, right? Bed rest, or causes such as intense pain that his full body is affected. Basically, as we said, like ear pain, right? A child is considered choleh she'en bo sakana if he suffers from any illness or injury that causes him distress or discomfort. So for child, doesn't matter. He doesn't have to stay in bed or something like to be considered this category. Any distress or discomfort, that's we can apply this thing. So it's not leniency; it's specifically provision for the children. Therefore, if child requires creams or ointment on Shabbos to alleviate discomfort, so it's not pain. We're talking about discomfort. One may employ the leniencies set out above regarding choleh she'en bo sakana. Okay, see the sanctity of Shabbos, page 53, for the age at which one ceases to be considered a child with regard to this law. So I think there we said, I don't remember exactly the age, I think up to 6 years old, 5-6 years old. Some, like if you're a little sickly child, maybe until 9-year-old, right? So it's in this category. Okay, so okay, continue. So now the 5th category, as we discussed before. So let's see. A localized illness. A person is afflicted with localized ailment or injury, even one that is intensely painful and causes definite discomfort. There is a headache or heartburn. It is forbidden to transgress any melacha on his behalf, whether biblical or rabbinical. So we say that the headache, for example, the heartburn that I mean, he can function. It's unpleasant, but he can function. So if he had the migraine that he cannot function, she cannot function, they have to lie down because of this. So automatically, then in category of people whose life is not in danger. So in this case, they are allowed to take medicine and take whatever. Okay, so let's continue. Any questions?
I have one about this. If it is one-time attention, meaning for sure it may be a pikuach nefesh. Are these cautions ignored?
There's some like a background noise, like
all these cautions are ignored if it is pikuach nefesh.
No, what I'm saying, if it's pikuach nefesh, we're obligated to do whatever we need to do for him.
So, but there is no taking, paying attention to this to make the spoon backwards.
Oh, okay. So they say usually not. So if they say if it's not going to make it longer, whatever you do longer, you're going to search for a spoon 5 minutes. So this person is going to suffer. Don't do it. So, but if it's exactly the same amount of time, so yeah, you can do it. If it's not going to affect his health, you do it now or 15 minutes later, to 5 minutes later. So then yes, you can do it, but you're not obligated.
And I have another question about. It was talk in a share of Joseph Mizrahi about when you go to the hospital in a situation of pikuach nefesh, you go to by car, and you have the problem with the door because the door activates the light, and it is said that you cannot close the door when the situation of emergency has finished. So how you deal with this issue?
I don't know. You just ask another non-Jew to do something about it.
Oh, okay.
So you cannot shut off the motor either.
Oh, I didn't think about it.
So basically, pikuach nefesh only until you brought this person to the hospital. So when you brought it to the hospital, you cannot shut off the motor. That's it. You cannot close the door. You cannot do anything, basically. Okay. So that's the thing. That's why we usually it's smarter to call it taxi. Taxi would take you, or here we have a special where we live. We have a special Jewish services. They call it Hatzala. So it's like ambulance. They come, Jews only. I mean, the driver is not Jewish, and not Jew, but all others are Jewish, and they take you to the hospital, do whatever they need.
So adding one more question to this. So are Jewish medics allowed to work on Shabbos?
In this case, so for saving lives, yeah, they are allowed.
Except the driver, they hire another.
Yes, I mean, technically, even a driver can be a Jew, technically, but preferable they hire a non-Jew. Prefer, but it's not necessary. A driver can be a Jew, because in this case, we allow them to technically. What's the difference, right? They brought this person to the hospital. There is no pikuach nefesh, so let them stay in the hospital. Why would they drive back? You understand? So if the emergency come, okay, so we're going to we're going to call them on the radio and say, okay, you know what? You finish with that emergency, very nice. Go to that town. Go to this place, that place. You understand? But I would just say people would not want to volunteer for that. It's for free. They're not being paid. You understand? So if you're not going to allow them to return, they're not going to go like next time, next Shabbos. And same with the doctors. That's why we allow the doctor to return. So I said maybe they're going to call his number again. So it was old permission when we didn't have cell phones. Today they can call him on a cell phone. It's a little different. So we allow to one more time to return. Why? Because next time he's not going to go and person is going to die. Understand? That's the reason. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask, let's say you're the driver, right? But the thing is, you're driving to the town. You drop this guy off at the hospital. You got another call. You have to take someone else. Okay, so you're driving there and then driving back to the hospital. Okay, great. But the thing is, you have to follow traffic laws. So, for example, let's say I have to turn on my signal, right?
Yes, yeah. So since you're doing it for a person usually they don't call like for simple things that somebody is like itchy a little, right? So they call for severe condition. So there's a suspicion that somebody had a heart attack or stroke. You understand? So this person's life is in danger. So you're allowed to violate all of the prohibitions necessary. So in this blinker, as you said, it's our brake or gas. It's one of the things that you must do, or it's not like your preference, in order to get to that sick person.
What's it called? So let's say, I don't know, I feel like I should go 50 miles an hour, but the speed limit is 40. I'm allowed to go 50 miles per hour or no?
I mean, if it's needed for a patient, so to get him quicker to the hospital, yes, you're allowed. Or if you need to go get quicker to the new patient, yes, you're allowed. I mean, they turn on the siren and they go with any speed it's allowed by the law, basically. For them, different laws, but yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's try to finish up. So one more time, we're talking about this localized illness. So he has a minor. He does not say here. I'm adding for myself minor headache. So there's some severe headaches, and unless person takes medicine, he's going to die basically. And okay. So for this minor localized illness, it is forbidden to transgress any melacha on his behalf, whether biblical or rabbinic. However, one is permitted to instruct a non-Jew to perform a rabbinically prohibited act on his behalf. So if it's localized illness. Therefore, one may instruct a non-Jew to smear a rabbinically forbidden cream in order to benefit a person suffering from a localized illness. Okay. So basically, okay. So let's finish up, and we're going to explain. If the foregoing paragraphs, we know that several halakhic differences between the creams forbidden by biblical law and those forbidden by rabbinical law. However, if it is extremely difficult to identify with the certainty which ointment and creams are forbidden by Torah law and which by rabbinic law. Therefore, wherever the law of the particular cream or ointment is not definitely known, one must assume that it's forbidden by biblical law. So basically, the way I see it, like most of these creams in the tubes, they would be like a biblical law. You know, they're so thick, it's like a biblical law. So now going to back to the question about the sore throat. So it's localized illness. So if it's possible to cure it with the food, like drink tea with lemon, with this, with that, so that's the proper way to do that. You understand? But if a person suffering that he cannot, he's going to lay in bed and he is afraid to swallow the saliva because it's going to kill him, that I had it some time ago, so of course in this case all of the rabbinically forbidden things you can do basically. Okay, so we can stop here. Baruch Hashem, we finish this melacha, and next one B'ezrat Hashem we start with cutting. Okay, any questions?
So I'll ask. I want to ask you that one about the Zohar.
Okay, go ahead. About Zohar.
Yes. So I'm just gonna tell everybody. The Rizal said, I'm gonna quote a very small part. He's talking about the people who say don't learn Kabbalah, so on and so forth, because it's on such a high madriga. And he says, however, concerning these people and their ilk, we must say that we must say that they are those who speak evil with you, speak of you with deliberate evil. Of them it is said, wisdom is too high for a fool. He dare not open his mouth in the gates. So how does that correspond to what we say today?
All right. So basically about learning Kabbalah in general. So learning Kabbalah in general, it says that who can learn Kabbalah? I would say just give us clear instruction, who, indication, right? A person, right? Men, first of all, men, women are out. Men above 40 years old, who completed the whole Talmud and all the Torah, all of the Midrashim, all of these things. So he basically is ready. His mind is ready. And if his Rebbe says that he's ready, right, so he can learn Kabbalah. Okay, so why does it say whatever it says? But I'll say you can learn Kabbalah is with a commentary. So for example, that book that we learn on Ashana Rabbah, one of the books that we learn on Ashana Rabbah is a Kabbalah with Musar. So there are many pieces. He said there's a Holy Zohar HaKadosh, say this and this, and then he is going to explain how does it apply to our simple life, right? That's the thing. So you're obligated to learn, absolutely. Or for example, I'm learning now. Some people Nefesh HaChaim of Chaim Mivoloshin, basically. So some things they did not, like deep Kabbalah, they did not translate to English, but there are many mystical things in there, and me personally, other people enjoy it very much. So of course it's for simple people, but people when they try to read this Kabbalah like directly, and just because it's a story, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai went to this town and he met this guy and he said this story, like people they think they understand, it's stupid. You understand? Even Midrashim from Kabbalah, so unless somebody explain you exactly how can you apply it, don't do it. I give you example what I had this conversation with somebody, and this person said, I have no example. I say, you have no example? I have many examples like that. I have many times in my life. So the guy would call me, and in one of my beginners classes, right? And he would say, he said, can you tell me how many pairs of tefillin you're wearing? I said, what do you mean? I have one pair of tefillin. What do you mean, how many? I say, if you ask me about Rabbeinu Tam, I don't wear Rabbeinu Tam. So no, the Kabbalistic tefillin, the Ari. I said, what do you mean, the Ari? So no, the small. And he showed me. So they put one tefillin, and behind it another tefillin. So basically there is a room on your forehead for two tefillin. So of course they're smaller. It's not like bigger. The smaller tefillin, and if you put two tefillin, it's halachically permissible. So this person, he became Balshu, I don't know, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I mean, I don't know. Okay. So and he saw that person who became Balshu just last Friday. There's expression FFF. What is FFF? From Friday, right? So he went to Kabbalah Shabbos. They danced. They poured him some l'chaim. So he wants to be Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So and he wants to invest money, and he bought this this special tefillin. These crooks sold this tefillin. I mean, it's that tefillin is not bad, but these people should see who they sell. It's like if ask a personal question. You buy it for yourself. You don't know how you put it. Are you a Kabbalist or something? So I mean, he did not buy. This guy did not buy. But before, I think these two pairs cost like around like $3,000. I don't remember, like $2,500, $3,000, two pairs. right? So he was asking me, not my opinion, if he should put them on. No, it was not the question. So his question to me was my opinion if his price is good. You understand? So I asked him, do you know how to wash your hands before the bread? He said, I know. And I started asking the question. Like, he does not know how to wash the hands before they're eating bread. So I said, let's go slowly. After we wash hands, after you finish this, you finish that. So we're going to talk about two tefillin. But at this point, just let all of the people who wants to put 2 tefillin, let them put even 5 tefillin if they want. But for you, 1 tefillin, normal Rashi. Just make sure, take a mirror, look at the mirror, make sure it's in the correct place. When your hairline like ends, if you don't have hair like they fall out, for example, you remember where in the place they used to be, so you put tefillin in the right place. That's it. You understand? And I have in the years like several people like ask me this question, like they want to be Kabbalists. They think that that's for simple people, but person like me who does not, I ask people, like I don't want, it's not like insulting, but I like the way to test person. I ask, do you know what the parasha of the week this week? No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it yet. Okay, but how about last week? What last week? You should not really, but 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Okay, tell me one parasha that you know. So all of these Kabbalists, they do not know any parasha. You understand? So start from the basics. But this deep, like some insights, like for example, I enjoyed reading Ramban on the parsha. So he gives a lot of deep Kabbalah. They skip. They don't translate in English. But some Kabbalistic things they translate. So to skip these unbelievable delicious things, it's disrespect to the Torah because part of the tradition, right? But to go in a pure Kabbalah, don't. Did I answer the question?
Yes, 100%. Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Talking about Kabbalah, is that the Anna Behuach is a Kabbalistic preacher?
Who? Again.
Anna Behuach is a Kabbalistic prayer?
I apologize. Which one? When do we pray this prayer?
In the Korbanos, there is a prayer by Ben Hakana that is start with Anna Behuach. Is Kabbalistic the prayer?
I'm not sure. Whatever is okay. So let's take a step back. So whatever is in the Siddur, there are some Kabbalistic things, absolutely. And we say, for example, I give one thing, when we take the Torah out, this the big paragraph, it's Kabbalistic 100%. It says from the Zohar. It's even the commentary is from Zohar. So we say it because that's, if our sages put in a Siddur, we say everything. His question was about extra. You go learn Kabbalah. Here you're not learning, you're just reading the things. You understand? So that's, even if it's Kabbalah, it says Zohar, there is no problem.
Okay.
Rabbi, one more thing. You said that we should do vidui by mincha as well, or only shachar?
No, I never said that.
Oh, I wrote this down.
No, you said that in this shtibel they do in mincha and shachars, and I ask you. I remember what I said. So and I ask you if they're Sephardi, because he said they're Hasidic, but you said that they are Sephardi. Okay.
Sorry. No, but you said we should do it by chakras, right?
Chakras, yes. And if you check your siddur, it's in there inside. It's chakra in a gray box.
Okay, that's what I was asking, and I said the Sfard, not Sephardi. The second.
Yeah. I mean, they can call themselves whatever they want. If it's in their siddur and that's their tradition to say, let them say.
Understood.
But they say it so fast, so it's exactly, I don't know, most of the people so fast, so I mean, it just uses 50 seconds, whatever they say, to your advantage and finish vidui like, not vidui, but TIKKUN normally. If
Is it brought down in halakha to daven tachanun fast? Because everybody does.
no. You asked this question. No,
Okay.
people do it because of ignorance. They don't know the significance of the tachanun. That's the only reason why people do it.
Understood. Okay.
It's a tachanun. It's a big secrets, and as we said before, big secrets, very kabbalistic secrets. And if people only knew, they would do only tachanun. And but people like so it says in Pirkei Avos, so if a fool would keep his mouth shut, so people might mistake him for a wise person, right? But how do you know somebody is fool? He opens his mouth and start talking. Now everybody know now the secret that he's a fool. So how do you know who is a fool? Who is in some days there is no tachanun. For whatever reason, no tachanun. So people get excited because of no tachanun. They're joking around. It's like, he opened his mouth. It's better for him to stay quiet. Okay, no tachanun. Okay, just continue reading. Understand? So that's how you know that who is a fool. Okay, stop here or any other questions?
One more thing. So, okay, two more things. So about the 72 minutes, right? If you have to use the bathroom under 72 minutes, you have to stop davening and go use the bathroom. Agreed?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So the first question is like this. I heard that it doesn't just apply to Shemoneh Esrei. Let's say I'm in the middle of.
No, but it's if the urge was before.
Yeah.
So, but if urge was during, like you have urge before, but it started when you started Shemoneh Esrei. You after the first paragraph, so you need to go. So it's there's no 72 minutes. You just finish. You finish Shemoneh Esrei. Say don't break. If you can hold until the end of the Shemoneh Esrei, then you go.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, but what's it called? My question is, does this only apply to Shemoneh Esrei, or let's say Uva L'Tzion as well?
Shema also.
Just those two things?
I think so. Yes, only two.
What about Hallel?
Hallel? No, I don't think so. No, and also I don't remember. Unfortunately, I don't remember. It could also apply to Birchas Hamazon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because in many senses that they compare the halacha of Birchas Hamazon to Shemoneh Esrei, halachas to Shemoneh Esrei. And when we going to get to it, you will see especially in the cases when a person made a mistake. Remember yesterday we said if he after he said Baruch Atah HaShem, he did not say Baruch Atah HaShem. He started next blessing. He did not start the next blessing. So exactly the same rules. Whatever we said yesterday, Yalla B'Yova, this Rosh Chodesh holiday edition. So it's very similar. I don't want to say exactly the same. Very similar rules would apply to errors during the Birchas Hamazon.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
So what was you said two things? Second.
You answered it already. In the meantime, it's okay. What's it called? Because you said my question was going to be very simple. It was supposed to apply to a different concept. But let's say I don't know if 72. Let's say if I have to use the bathroom in 70 minutes, right? Or in 120 minutes. I don't know, but I have the urge, okay? And I want to finish davening. I want to daven with the minion, so on and so forth, right? I didn't get the Shemoneh Esrei, but I want to daven with the minion, okay? So the question was going to be like this. Since there's a doubt, right? Big doubt. 120 minutes, 60 minutes makes a big difference. So in this case, do we say that, it's a derabanan and there's a doubt, and so I'm fine, right? Or do we say that, wait, if I do it wrong, right, and it's actually 60 minutes, let's say, okay, and I daven Shemoneh Esrei and all that, I said Hashem's name in vain many times. So maybe we need two doubts since it counts as a deraisa, because if you do something wrong, it might be a deraisa. So do we need one doubt or two doubts in this situation?
I would say the way you explain maybe two doubts. So because they say clearly, if you have this urge to go to the bathroom, it's like it's not a prayer, it's abomination. It's abomination. Yeah, you understand? So to be in this And what is the abomination? They talk when they talk about bestiality, abomination, and like man with man, abomination. So, and praying while you want to go to the bathroom is abomination. So you must know, like this is not a joke. It's very serious category to be in, right? If you made a mistake, right? So it's best. I would advise to go like if number 2 is difficult, but number 1, just before you go, before you start praying, just go check yourself. Maybe it's going to work, maybe not. So after, for example, if it's mincha, right, yeah, if it's mincha, so for sure, like in the next 2 minutes, if you didn't want to go 2 minutes ago, now you start with Shmona Esrei and you want to go, so it's like you can continue davening. Same with Marif. Most of the time they do a break between Marif and Mincha. Sometimes they don't make any breaks. So if they do make a break and you need to go, so you just go. That's it. Or you have a doubt that you might need, so you go. But that's it. So don't play with that. As we said, it's category of abomination. We want to be on the good side of HaShem, not in this where this with all of this regime, basically.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we start here. Israel, anything?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, we have time. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's finished here.
Okay, okay, start.
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע, אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה. אני